pleasure.
He's trying to guide believers to what he truly thinks is right. He's reading from a manuscript of scientific law. Throw away the rest, but you don't need it anymore. Tree for sure, the Lord of non-belief. If he can't prove it, no one can get ready for the brief. A dedicated skeptic, we all know what that means. He's lurking in the shadows and crushing all your dreams. And never going to land. Don't believe in cryptids that leave footprints in the sand. Don't believe in spirits appearing from the dead. The only demons out there are living in your head. Dream crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the brief. A dedicated skeptic, we all know what that means. He's lurking in the shadows and crushing all your dreams. Dream crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the brief. A dedicated skeptic, we all know what that means.
Hello, everyone. It's Friday night. I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. I was playing air drums like a mofo. Woo! So I am here tonight. Hello, it's Friday. I'm going to say hi to everybody, but first I want to say real quick that Donna does have the night off. She is home cuddling with Rummy right now, watching TV, just trying to relax. But we have Tim Vickers in the background. He is filling in today or tonight, and I will, since it's open mic night, I made a little special frame for him because he's into Doctor Who. So that means Tim's in the background hanging out. Let me go through. Let me say hi to some people because we got a bunch of people. We got Michael Burkeen. I see you in there twice. We got Blast Rights. We got Jade Kittens in the house. We got Michael Smorto, Malachi. We got Daniel Reeds. Hello, Daniel. Good to see you, buddy. Obscure Reference Man. Kent Anderson. Good to see you. Cat Mac. It's date night. Who else we got? Wandering Wenchy. Good to see you. We got Silent Cow. Oh, that's Tim Vickers. Shh. Oh, I had to burp. Sorry. Chris Williams is here. Good to see you. James Menace. Oh, damn it, Bob's in the house. Where's my sign? Where are my signs? I lost my signs. And I did confirm. I don't know if you guys realized that like a couple shows ago, I reached for a sign specifically for Cat Mac. The one, where is the other sign? I'm missing it. I got my bullshit sign. Bullshit. I had a sign that said, "Oh my God, it's a tiara," and that bitch, Melanie Teresa King, stole it the last time she was here, and I confirmed it. So I know that she has it. Yeah, she did, Daniel. She stole it. Because I texted her right away, and she started playing bullshit games with me, and I was like, "Yeah, I know you took it." Kellex D, hello. Shauna is in the house. Central Mass Paranormal Society is here. Good to see you. Little Miss Mayhem causing some trouble. Capital K-A-T Cat is in the house. Oh, Crow of Judas. What's up, Crow? Good to see you, buddy. Let's see. You worked on it too hard. She needs a night off. Yeah, she needs a night off. Hey, Claire at PNC Paranormal. Good to see you. Hello, dear. How you doing? You having a drink? You better. Let's see who else. Steve Sacrum. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Just making sure I try to get everybody. I don't have Donna's voice over here in my ear telling me you missed them. You missed somebody. James, just single name. James is in the house. Good to see you. Leanne K. Lucas Parazone with an exclamation point. Not part, point. I'm discombobulated today. Sandra Peachy is here. Hey, Diana. Diana Fodor is in the house. We got, I'm down at the bottom. Pinky and Mary Jane Gin Juice is here. Awesome. So I got everybody. Let's go over some of the rules. So I'm going to change I didn't fix this frame yet because honestly, I can't find it. So it's going to look a little weird. But rule number 1 is that you are welcome to ask questions. That's what this show is about. It's a learning show, especially when we have open mic night, which is tonight. You get to ask questions, and Tim Vickers in the background will save them, and we'll get to as many as we can. Usually we get to all of them. Rule number 2, keep in mind that I don't know everything. I don't pretend that I know everything. I try to learn as much as I can, but there's going to be quite a few times where I just don't have an answer for you. And we'll try to look it up. I'll share the screen. We'll look it up. We'll learn something together, or I will write it down in my notebook, which is always by my side, no matter what. I have notebooks everywhere, in my car, in my backpack, at home, in the basement, here, stashed all over the place. Rule number 3 is we follow the Patrick Swayze rule here, and that's be nice until it's time to not be nice. But that basically means you can be in the chat room, you can discuss ideas, you can disagree, you can debate, have a conversation. That's cool. Just don't devolve into name calling. That's all I ask. Because if you do, we boot you. All right? I'm not going to tolerate name calling and just being mean to each other. Let me do that. Because my name's up here. And I get to be mean if it's warranted. That's all. I try not to be mean otherwise. Rule number 4, you'll get vickered. That's right. We'll vicar your ass out of here. Rule number 4 is that if you do have a question for tonight, please do us a favor and put a capital Q in front of it. And that way it's easier for Tim in the background to see it and put it in the queue for later. And then lastly, since I was traveling, I was able to stop and get my Wawa tea, which is, I love it. And yes, it is special. It's not too special. I have a presentation I have to do tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So it's not too special, but it's special enough. So let's pop back to our open mic night. And let's say, hey, Crow of Judas, thank you so much for the $5, buddy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I put you in my new skit, not self-promoting. You're awesome. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Not self-promoting. I try not to self-promote. Do I self-promote? I don't know where the line is for self-promoting. Like I do promote the show and all that kind of stuff. I do tell people what I do and see, I encourage them to, join us if they want to, but it's always like that, if you want to, come on over. If you don't want to, that's cool. I'm not going to make you. It's your life. Buy his merch. Oh, let me see. Where's my oh, there it is. My cheesy plug for merch. That's self-promotion right there. Let me see. What else we got? It depends on how smooth you are. I shaved, if you haven't noticed. I shaved. I got a haircut. I cleaned myself all up and stuff. And I'm wearing this is one of my early shirts, Earth's Greatest Hero, because Superman released. Today was the official release day, but it released yesterday. We have tickets. Donna and I have tickets for tomorrow. So we will be going to see it tomorrow. Tomorrow, like 2:30, I think. We have a 2:30 show. So yeah, I actually showered, Crow. I do it once a week. Actually, I do every morning. Last couple mornings, I've been getting up and going for a nice long walk. I did a walking thoughts this morning, and I think it was this morning, right? Was it this morning? I don't know. My days get all confused. I think it was this morning. I did one yesterday. Yeah, because I did one yesterday, and every time I started to record, like there was either a car coming by with loud music or other people started walking. I've noticed other people walking now along my path, and it's pissed me off because it's my path. I claimed it. But they're walking along, and I kind of feel stupid talking to my phone, like because I'm holding it like this, I have my phone out, and I'm like this talking to it, and I feel kind of weird, so I don't do it in front of other people. Plus, I don't want to get into a conversation with other people at the time. I'm just kind of rolling with my thoughts, and I don't want somebody else to say, "Hey, I got a thought on that," because I mean, normally I don't mind engaging with. I need a selfie stick. I do have them. I do. I think I have. Wait, do I have one? Oh, there's one right there. I have that. I keep forgetting it. I mean, normally I don't mind getting into a conversation with people, but like at 7 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to talk to anyone. Hey, Donna's here. Donna's in the chat. Everyone say hi, Donna. So let's see. A few things before, not really a few things. Well, yeah, maybe two things before we get into some questions. Again, if you have a question for tonight that you want to throw out there, a topic, put a capital Q in front of it, and we'll save it in the chat room. If you guys want to pop on for a few minutes, I will put the link as soon as I figure it out, because they updated StreamYard again, and now I don't know where. I don't know where where is the link? Oh, wait, there it is. Invite a guest. Copy. All right. So I'll put that in a little bit, and then if you want to come on and just hang out for a little bit, talk for a couple minutes, ask a question in person, or maybe as questions come in, we can discuss them in virtual person, which I don't mind. So first thing I want to put out there is that the last video that I put out was about local libraries putting out ghost hunting kits, and I sat here with the thief, Melanie. She's a king. She sat here with me, and we went through the kit. We went to the local library. I reserved it. I'm trying really hard to say library right, but my Philly accent wants to come out because we always call it library. Anybody else call it that? A library instead of library? So I'm trying to say it right, but I don't want to. So I'm not going to. So anyway, we went to the local library and picked it up, and then sat here and actually went through each item that was in the ghost hunting kit and talked about it. She asked questions. It was more Melanie interviewing me. So if you haven't checked out that video, please do so. It's on the Center for Inquiry YouTube channel under Ghosts in the Machine, because that's the series that I do for them. Library. What? I say library. You're from Philly. It's library. That's right. That's I've always said that. This library, like my mouth feels weird when I say library. That extra R in there, I don't like it. Library feels weird. It feels dirty. dirty. Anyway, and then the second thing I wanted to bring up real quick was Isabel. So I made this the other day. Actually, I made it a couple weeks ago. So this is Isabel, and it's, as you can see, it's like a dude. I would love to pop in for 5 minutes. You can kick me off. I will. So this is Isabel. You like that? I did a laser engraving on that. It came out really cool. So this is, I don't know if it's a knockoff Raggedy Ann doll or not, but I like that it was an opposite hair color. Or not opposite, but just a different hair color. But I put in an awesome tarot card, the drinker. It's just as dangerous as Annabelle. And this is the challenge that goes out to the Annabelle owners right now. Go ahead, test them side by side. So you can clip this video out if you want. I'm going to say that this doll is every bit, if not more, haunted than Annabelle. And if the owners want to put it up side by side and actually do a test on both, I'd be happy to participate. So I'm going to leave it there just because that whole tour just kind of pissed me off. You know, like they're making tons of money. You have trouble pronouncing things anyway. This is true. But yeah, librarian. Yeah, he's a librarian. You know, like that's weird. Librarian. Yeah, I think I do say librarian. Yeah, I do. I never thought about it. The only time I say that title is because of the TV show and the mini movies, the librarians. So like I would say it right because that was the title of the series, the librarians. But normally I would say librarians. Librarians? That sounds weird. That sounds like somebody from a country. All right. Anyway. Whew. All right. Let's see. Is that sage? Let's see. Let's start with let me see. Let me start with a question. So when you get a question come up, and I'll post the link to join. And then as I'm answering this question, that'll give time for people to come in. What are your thoughts? Oh, Chris Williams. Kenny, what are your thoughts about the skeptics collabing with paranormal investigators? Loose question. So I don't see. I guess it depends on how it's going to be presented. I would assume that both parties are going to film what's going on, and I'm also assuming that this is a collaboration like at a location, like they're investigating a location. So I'm all for it. I mean, I've done it plenty of times, and I'm happy to do it again. I don't mind going along with. Never assume. You got me. You threw me off, Chris. Anyway, let me read the question again. All right. So yeah, I've gone to locations with I hesitate to say paranormal investigators because I mean I don't that ghost hunters and paranormal investigators I usually use interchangeably because I think it's just one is just a fancier way to say the same thing. But I would be happy to go with a group of ghost hunters or paranormal investigators or whatever. And as long as they understand that I'm going to give my opinion as well, I'm going to give my opinion on things usually backed up by either good evidence or data or information, knowledge that I have. I'm going to say and present it as I want. I've been to a couple places with Seg, Dawson Toller, Joe Fatale, and we put out our own videos and our own, different styles. So I don't mind doing that as long as it's understood that, yeah, I'm gonna say what I want to say and how I want to say it, remaining kind of professional as I can, and just saying what I see in a blunt manner. That blunt. Yeah, I guess that's it. I don't mind doing it. I think it's interesting, and I think it's beneficial for both sides, because if you are more of a skeptical person and you've been that way for longer than maybe you were a believer, if you've always been more skeptical, you get a chance to see what the other side is doing and how they approach things and how they think and how they interpret things and why. So it's great in that experience. And on the other side, maybe the ghost hunters will see from the skeptic, like, oh, well, maybe there's a different way to approach this. Maybe there's things they haven't thought of. Maybe there's other tests that we can do. Maybe they can learn how to perform a good test with controls over the variables that are going on. Something that I usually don't see from ghost hunters. So I think it's pretty good. I think it's a good idea, as long as it doesn't have one group trying to force the other group to say a certain thing or hide information because it might be damning for the other side. Like, just be honest. As long as both sides are honest and not trying to influence each other, then I think it's a good idea. I would definitely do that. All right. Question. I have two people that are in the background. I'm going to bring one on first because she was first. And I think she's coming on because she has some homework that she wants to share. So let's get Kat on. There she is. Hello, Tiara girl.
Hi, honey.
How are you doing?
I'm tired. I spent the last 2 days at a conference, so I'm sleepy.
Oh yeah, were you what conference? Was it the cruise or
The Lily
you're
on conference.
you are like freezing up. Uh-oh. I think we're losing her. Very, very slow. You're coming in very slow, and right now you're frozen. Actually, you're like the $6 million man right now. You're in slow motion. All right, I'm gonna say back out. Try to come back in a couple minutes, and we'll try it again. Because right now, yeah, you're frozen. So we'll try that. Let me see. Let me get her out. And oh my goodness. So heads up, people. Somebody's coming on that it's gonna get crude.
What's up,
Hello,
man?
bro. How are you, sir?
I miss you, Kenny Biddle.
Aw, I miss you too. How are you?
Good, man. Good. I thought this was the perfect time to come on because you're kind of talking about something I wanted to talk about because this whole skeptic investigator discussion has been going on because Seg went with Colin from Paranormal Files to go ghost hunting recently, and all of a sudden it's just they're saying they're thinking it's a new thing, like, oh wow, debunkers are going with investigators. Well, they've been doing that for a while now,
Right.
but this one's more than usual because Colin's more on the quote unquote entertainment side of things. But man, Jeff did a reaction video to it, and there was some stuff that Colin was saying that was absolutely triggering the hell out of me today.
I don't see a problem with it. I mean, even if
No, not at all.
You know what? I think I would have a problem with someone that if I've researched them or did something on them and found that they were faking stuff or that it was most likely that they were faking. Like if all the research I did led to the conclusion that they're probably faking, then no, I'm not going to work with them. I'm not going to do anything with them because I don't like that. I mean, that's just dishonest and unethical. I wouldn't lend my I feel weird saying it, but I wouldn't put my reputation in that situation because they're already faking stuff. They're a known faker. I'm not going to go in there and give myself up to that. So yeah, that would be a situation where I would not participate. But otherwise, I mean, go ahead.
It was just funny because there's one thing that he said that was hilarious, right? There was one time where there's a sound down a hallway or another room. I can't remember exactly what it was, but Colin said in the video, and there was a part where, Seg's debunking part took over, and he wanted to find out what that sound was. And I'm like, and even Jeff said it, like, you don't have to be a debunker to go find out what a sound was. That's what investigating is. I was screaming at the TV. That's what the word investigate means. So that was like, it was really weird to see how far they are on that side. Like one of the devices kind of it died for a second. Of course, that was paranormal. Like they don't have, especially that side of things. There's no critical thinking whatsoever. It was all everything's a ghost.
So I would pull back just a little bit and say, like, I don't like putting blanket terms out there. So I don't want to say like there's no critical thinking at all on the other side. Because there's it's a sliding scale. It's not a fence.
There's nuances, right? Yeah,
right. You're somewhere on that scale where there's some critical thinking. I mean, sometimes I'm an idiot. Like I pride myself on thinking critically and trying to pick out the details. But once in a while, I am a complete idiot and I miss things that are right in front of me. And it takes somebody else to say, hey, like, look at this. I'm like, fuck. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. But when it comes to debunking, I think the problem here is that in the YouTube community, when it deals with this, the paranormal and debunking, that's the two sides. You know, like there's debunking and then there's paranormal investigators.
Right.
And they're not realizing, like, no, you can, everyone's an investigator. There was somebody recently, there was a podcast, and I was brought up during the podcast. And it was interesting because it was a guest. They brought my name up because they were talking about skeptics. And when they said my name, they said, oh, well, Kenny Biddle was a paranormal investigator. And now he's a skeptic. And my first reaction was, are you kidding me? I still investigate paranormal claims. I'm an investigator. I'm not a debunker. And I think the problem is people don't realize debunking means that's when you take the falseness out of a claim. So that's the result of an investigation. You have to investigate stuff. When you hear a noise down the hallway, you're not sure what caused it, and you go investigate that noise, you're not debunking the noise because nobody said immediately that's a ghost.
Oh, right. I get it now.
So
I never thought about it like that before.
Somebody heard a noise and you go investigate it because that's what you fucking do.
Oh,
that's
dude.
what you do. It's not debunking. It's going down, you investigate, you find a source, you explain it. Case closed. That's it.
So the word debunking is only used when somebody's claiming something is something. And that's okay. I didn't even fucking realize that. Wow.
So if
Sorry,
that
you said
same example, if somebody says they heard a noise down the end of the hallway and they later on they tell everyone that was a ghost, that was evidence of a ghost, now you have a claim. So if we go back there, we hear the same noise and the same people say, yes, that's the noise we heard, that's the ghost, and we go down there and investigate, which they should have done in the first place, and we figure out what the cause is. And it's maybe it's like a window, like a window cover or a door, like an outside door that slams because of air pressure or wind. We have now debunked that claim. We've investigated it, we've explained it, but it debunked the original claim.
I see. Right.
So that's how it works.
I'm also called Dawson a skeptic, just because he didn't want to use. Check this out. Hold on. Yeah. So first of all, he calls Dawson a skeptic, right? Just because he didn't want to use the Spirit Talker app, and then also he says they didn't get much activity because of Dawson's skepticism.
Well,
so how wrong he got it. That's so funny, man.
Dawson's in the chat. I see him. But like he's not. It's weird when people call us skeptics. Like they call me a skeptic. I'm not really. Like I don't go out and skeptic things. That's not a thing. Like I'm applying skepticism because I'm asking questions. I have doubt, and just because of that, Dawson had doubt about some apps. Maybe he did look into it and he realized, okay, they're for entertainment only. That's why he's not using them. And that's good. That's practicing good skepticism, critical thinking, and applying it to his future investigations. So there's no reason to use an app. Yeah, I'd be proud too. My boy Dawson.
That's our boy. Yeah, that's our boy. Our little boy.
Our little boy Dawson is growing up.
And he says something. The VR60, he wanted to try it for himself, and he did. He says something like, "I'd rather use a higher quality recorder, so if I catch an EVP, I can hear it better." I'm like, there you go. I was really proud at that moment. Spirit boxes, that's a whole other discussion.
That's okay. You know, if you want to try something, I encourage that because I know for me, I can read and research. And if I see the documents, that's cool. It really, it makes an impact on me. But when it comes to gadgets and any kind of devices that are in use and how they work, I need to have the device in my hand. I need to play with the buttons. I need to test it physically in order to understand it completely, to have a good comprehension of it. So I did the same. I mean, Dawson let me play with the ultrasonic sensor that he had. I mean, he was nervous. He thought I was going to take it apart. I know he did. And I mean, I wasn't going to because it wasn't mine. But even after that, I ordered one so I could have it here and take it apart, see what was inside, because that's the only way I can really understand it, is to have one in front of me and use it, and see what different variables. If I change the environment, if I change the temperature, if I change the sound, if I change where it's pointed, will it have an effect? So I get it, and I encourage people to do that. Like, if you want to, don't spend the money on it because it's not worth it. Don't spend like $1,500, but fuck, I did in fact think Kenny was going to pull a screwdriver out. That's right. Yeah, he did. He stayed right next to me the whole time.
Oh my God, are you serious?
He wouldn't let me out of his sight.
Oh my God.
That's great.
Can I, before I go, I just want to talk about the spirit box real quick, because it's really been really my nerves, and I mean, if you want to think dead people are coming through the radio, that's go for it. But you know, I was looking back at the original guys that started this whole like ITC thing. They used to like really hone in on certain frequencies, and they actually thought that certain frequencies caught more ghosts than others, and they would find one frequency and stay on that frequency. I'm kind of wondering. I didn't look for this. Like, I wonder when, like, all of a sudden you had to change the channels to talk to the ghosts. You know, like, I wonder when it became, we went from like just listening to one frequency to going to flipping through this, because I think they want to flip the stations because it makes a word salad and you can make words that way. But do you know anything about that?
That I don't know. I don't recall hearing about like one specific frequency being used. For me, it's been it was the using just tape recorders and then using the Radio Shack hack, which was the white box. That was the first one that I heard of, where you snipped one of the connections in the back so that when it scanned, it would just keep scanning and not stop. And then there was Frank's box, and then there were the other like the SB7 and stuff like that came out, and all these other variations and versions that came out. But staying on one specific frequency, that I haven't heard before. So I don't know. I mean, that's something, if you look into that more, I'd like to learn more about that. Like who was it and what frequency were they talking about?
Right. There's a guy named you ever heard of a raw dive? It's I'm not saying it wrong. Yeah, raw div. If it's a diode, raw dive diode that APRF was using, and that guy that invented that was one of the founders of the ITC thing, and the guy he learned from. They used to do tests with certain frequencies as a whole thing, and it's a lot to read through. Right. But they used to hone in on certain frequencies, which I thought was interesting, because I would actually get behind that more if we were, because I used to say all the time, well, if they're coming through the radio, why don't we just put it on an AM station and just go ham? Why do we have to flip through like all these stations? It makes no sense to me.
I think you're right.
But then
I think you hit it where it's creates that word salad, and it creates the anomaly. And this is something I've said about a lot of these techniques. It's not ghost hunting or paranormal investigation. It's anomaly hunting. They're looking for. I love that term. Yeah, I mean that's what they're looking for.
Did you coin that?
No, I did not. That's not me. Oh, I heard it. I think I heard it from Ben Rafford, who's my editor. I don't know if he came up with it or not, but I heard it from him. And but yeah, I mean, a lot of these things, when you use the radios and scanning through it, you are literally creating anomalies. You're creating the thing that you're looking for. It's not something that's already out there. They're creating it, and it's a vicious cycle. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that's self-deceptive. So, yeah, I know. Sexy talk, right?
I also have a clothespin on my right nipple, by the way.
All right. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, Crow.
Love you, man. Appreciate you, dude. I guess I'll talk to you later.
All right,
buddy.
Later.
Bye.
Oh my God. I knew it was going to take a turn. It was a matter of time. It was going to take a turn. All right, let me get Kat on. She's back. Hey there, girl. Oh, wait. You're let me turn your mic on. Oh, you have to turn your mic on. Maybe. There
Sorry,
we go.
I muted while I was backstage.
Okay, no worries. You won't
Hopefully it
when you're
works.
backstage. You won't make sounds. We won't hear you until I actually bring you on. So what's up? What do you got?
Well, you gave me homework to do.
I did.
You
Can you
did.
tell us
Do
about
you
it?
remember what it was?
I don't. There was a few things that happened between then and now, so yeah. Refresh me and everyone that's watching.
Yes.
Let us know what you were looking up.
It was on your TikTok Tuesday, and I forget who asked the question. Apologies, but they wanted to debunk the famous ghost in their city, which is the ghost at the Fort Garry Hotel in Winnipeg.
Okay.
So I did due diligence on this, and I can tell you the answer. Do you want like just the answer, or do you want me to show my work?
I want you to show your work. That's what we do here.
But it'll take like 5 minutes ish if I show the work.
5 minutes is good.
12 if I really go into it deep. But
We got time.
but I know
got no
I'm only
supervision.
I'm only allowed to do this for like a minute, right? Because then
No,
we have
you're
to cut
good.
the hell
You're
off
good.
so I don't annoy you.
As long as my name is up there, we're good.
And
You have a tiara, which is very nice. It looks like it's floating above your head. That's awesome.
thank you.
Okay.
I wore it for Tim, you know.
Oh,
He loves my tiaras.
that's good.
And you know, somebody got a sign stolen, so
I know.
else?
I know.
All right, well, the Fort Garry Hotel in Winnipeg was opened in December of 1913. It was built by the Grand Trunk Railway. Now, I don't know if you have these in America, but in Canada, it's quite common that we call them railway hotels.
Say that again. You're breaking up
And
again.
it's like the Grand Trunk Pacific Railway would build the hotel. Canadians. Oh, damn it. Do you have railway hotels there?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I've never
Am I
looked up.
lost?
Uh-oh. Did we lose you again?
I'm
This is the
still
fun
here.
bit of live stream. Okay. Are you still here? Keep talking. I can hear you. And you're moving. So yeah. Keep
Okay. I'm moving. We have, like, as the railway was built across Canada, major railway companies would build hotels. So we have like the Canadian Pacific Railway, Grand Trunk Pacific Railway. So they're like railway hotels. They're now owned by like Fairmont and stuff. But at the time, this was like big money, right? And these were the height of luxury. The the Fort Garry Hotel had 246 rooms over the 10 floors of the hotel. Each had their own private bathroom. Height of luxury, right? So the ghost story that surrounds room 202, very specific, it's conveniently vague when it comes to details, but the bottom line is there was a woman who was staying at the hotel with her husband. Varies whether or not they were newlyweds. And he died. He was killed in a car accident or hit by a tram or run over by a horse and cart, depending on who's telling the story.
Okay.
You see where I'm going with this.
Right.
And she was so this happened, quote, and from a newspaper, quote, many years ago, end quote. So it's serious. That's about as detailed as they ever get.
Okay. Yeah.
After learning of the death of her husband, in a fit of despondency, she goes to the closet and hangs herself. Do we need a trigger warning on this?
Nah.
It's you. They're already triggered, right?
They know. It's a ghost story. There's got to be tragedy.
Right?
Right.
So there are reports of guests witnessing an apparition standing at the foot of the bed or they're hearing strange noises. Photos taken in the room won't develop, back in the days with film cameras. Or they have the sensation of someone getting in bed with them, which made national news when an MP from Ontario, a member of parliament from Ontario, Brenda Chamberlain, reported that this happened to her. That was in the year 2000. So it's touted as one of Canada's most haunted places. But the folklore, it's got all the hallmarks of a really good tale. It includes some details, but nothing that you can really sink your teeth into. But I tried. I did my very best. Aside from the MP's account in the year 2000, it is really hard to find any firsthand accounts of this ghost. Barely even makes mention in Yelp reviews. Okay. Wow. Right?
Right.
And part of the ghost story is like staff would walk into room 202 and see blood covering the walls. But like, why if she hung herself?
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
Not making a lot of sense. And there was a whole other subset to the myth that in the year 2002, a boy was going to Winnipeg to have a wish fulfilled by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And as part of that, he wanted to stay in room 202 at the Fort Garry because he liked the ghost story. Apparently, all the pictures, yeah, I love you. All the pictures turned out except for the ones taken in the room. And that was reported by the hotel's director of sales and marketing in a 2012 newspaper article. I cannot find any information to back that claim up. There's nothing from 2002 to say that Make-A-Wish was doing something for a boy. Make-A-Wish doesn't put anything out publicly, but I do note that it was the director of sales and marketing.
There you go.
All right. So I was like, okay, how else can I verify this story? I looked back into all kinds of newspaper archives and newspaper.com, searching for anything about a death in the hotel that could maybe work with this. And I did find, I used the parameters, 1913, so the year the hotel opened, to the year 2000, the first newspaper article that has a reported encounter.
Okay.
Because she didn't see it, but she felt it getting in bed with her, right? I did find a death of a man named James Gorman who died in the hotel on February 22nd, 1928. But I couldn't find any reports of a woman dying there, and I couldn't find any reports of a suicide. So I was feeling kind of frustrated. And like newspapers would report on suicides all the bloody time up until the mid 1960s. So I was like, okay. In 1916, there was a total of 18 suicides in Manitoba, which is the province that Winnipeg is in. Only one was by hanging. And by the year 2016, so 100 years later, the province was averaging about 169 suicides annually. So not a lot of suicides are happening.
Okay.
So you'd think that if it happened prior to the mid-1960s, this would have made news.
Right.
I'm also thinking that if the couple were staying at the hotel, they were probably out-of-towners. Makes sense. Unless it was like a forbidden love affair, which some people kind of allude to.
Right.
So I'm like, it wouldn't make a lot of sense to try and find obituaries because I don't know where they're from. Right?
Right.
But I did try anyway because it's me and you gave me homework. So, and I take it seriously, damn it. So what I did is I focused on funerals or focused on obituaries that had double funerals. Because I thought, if he's dead in a car accident and she goes immediately and hangs herself, they're probably going to be buried at the same time.
Okay.
This was my logic. And tell me it's good logic.
Good logic.
Good logic. Thank you.
Yes.
There were no hotel reports of anyone dying near the hotel as a couple together. And over the decades, there were tons of double funerals held for people like mothers and infants when they died in childbirth. The Spanish flu epidemic, tons of them. Diphtheria, a whole big bunch. There were some for deaths caused by fires, by car accidents, by bus, and even a flying accident. Oh, and a bunch from diphtheria as well. That's why we immunize people. But those were all when the couples died basically at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of getting cranky at this point, but I was enduring. I did find a case of Mr. and Mrs. Neil McLeod, no relation, who had been married for 56 years, and they died of pneumonia 36 hours apart in December of 1925. So it wasn't going to be them.
Okay.
And I also found a report about...
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So was that McLeod?
Yeah.
Of the Clan McLeod?
Of the Clan McLeod. No relation.
Of the Clan McLeod.
I should have brought my broadsword. What was I thinking?
Sorry.
Next time. No tiara,
The only
broadsword.
one.
Next time. I found another couple who died separately, but they were both 72 years old. She was in Belmont, Manitoba, not Winnipeg, and he was on visiting family in Webb, Saskatchewan. They died a few hours apart, and he never knew that his wife died. So I kind of thought that was nice, but it doesn't fit our tale. So I had to keep going, keep digging. I found Mr. and Mrs. Andrew, who died 15 hours apart in 1943, but they were both in their 80s and living in a care home. So again, doesn't fit the narrative.
Doesn't fit.
I even found a dude who faked a double funeral for his parents, and he was charged with fraud for writing $622 in bad checks. He used a lot of aliases, but the cops called him Victor James. There was a headline from January 7th, 1915 that read, "Cops rob bride of her husband." I'm like, yeah, this is going somewhere. But what had happened is it was a newlywed couple who were married for 13 days, and authorities from the military and the police came up from Vermont to Winnipeg to arrest him for fraud. And they took him back to Vermont, and they took her back separately. But they were both very much alive. So that kind of dampened. I got excited because I'm like, ooh, they were staying at the Fort Garry. Everything's no, dead end again. Right. Ghost story, dead end. Funny. Thank you. Tim is laughing. I know he's laughing. So I'm like, okay, this is getting a little crazy. It is common for widows and widowers to commit suicide. I even read a study where it looked at people who committed suicide within 4 years of the death and after 4 years of the death, and the psychological ramifications and everything. But this just seemed a little too Romeo and Juliet to me.
Right.
Because it's like, I just found out my husband's dead, so I now must die. Like, what? Who does that? But I found a really, really promising lead when I found an article about a double funeral being held for a man and his mistress.
Oh.
Right?
Spicy.
Spicy. Now, this was Mr. Andrew Rodway, and he came back from World War I to his American wife and 2 children. He's Canadian. But he became infatuated with a single woman, and her name was Myrtle Stein. The families tried desperately to keep them apart, probably because Andrew's daddy was a reverend. And they're like, look, can you just cool it until the divorce from America comes through? No dice. You couldn't keep Andrew and Myrtle away from each other. They run off for a little vacay to see some friends in Ottawa, and Andrew ends up slicing Myrtle's throat and then cutting his own jugular. They did have a double funeral, but the murder and the funeral took place in Ottawa, not Winnipeg. So even though they had ties to Winnipeg, wrong couple. was getting very
Wow.
frustrated. So I dug deeper and I found an article in 1995 that said it wasn't a woman who committed suicide in the hotel, it was a man. And there was blood stains that the hotel doesn't want to talk about because it was very grisly death. I'm like, So sometime between 1995 and 2000, the story morphed from a man to a woman.
Right.
I'm like, all right, well, and the man, they didn't specify it was room 202. So I'm like, okay, somehow these stories have become intertwined. And I had to question the validity as well about how do you hang oneself in a closet, but I won't go there. But the bottom line is I couldn't find anything that validated anything to do with this haunting. So I switched tactics just for a second, and I looked at one of my favorite hauntings, which is the Banff Springs Hotel. Again, another railway hotel. And what do you think I found about their famous ghost bride? This ghost bride is famous. She has got a coin and a stamp, and I have them both because I love the Banff Springs Hotel.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
The stamp is just like right there. I should have pulled it out. Now, I looked at when the first reference was for the Fort Garry ghost, and it was the 94 wrong story of a man. I looked at the ghost bride at Banff Springs. It was 1995. So then I do a little digging about what's going on in tourism in the early 90s. There was a huge recession happening. Tourism was down. And then these railway hotels end up getting ghosts to lure people back. Is it a conspiracy? Maybe. Do I have proof that that's exactly what happened? Not really, but it's very coincidental, don't you think?
Something to think about, something to consider.
So yeah, I will leave you thinking that, because I thought like if the first mention should be in the 1980s, because the 1980s were paranormal crazy,
Right.
Satanic panic was happening. So surely that would be the time.
Right.
But nothing until 94 and 95. So
yeah. And
I'm thinking it's lies.
That's what you're describing, the evolution of a story, merging of stories. That's common. I mean, that's when you create a story out of whole cloth, it changes because every time you tell it, people tend to add new details, or they mishear, and a woman becomes a man, man becomes a woman, a hanging becomes a slicing,
gunshot,
gunshot or something like that. Different aspects, because if you don't have certain details, people have a tendency of filling in those details with what they think. And we see it a lot where somebody will say, oh yeah, well they killed themselves and they did it by, they probably did it like gunshot or something like that, where they don't know, but because they said gunshot or something like that, that now goes to the next, whoever's hearing that, that's the story. It becomes a gunshot.
They heard a bang and they found him dead the next day, and that turns into a gunshot because it was a bang.
Right. Yeah. And going back through these records helps you understand better, like how the story morphs. Another example, the Brown Lady of Raymond Hall, which is a very famous photograph, but when you track it down, the story actually changes in 1900. Prior to that, it was a completely different ghost, different backstory, different everything. And then 1900 came out and somebody published a story in the newspapers that he sent to a bunch of newspapers, and he created a new story that is the modern day story that we know now. So yeah, like this is great work. You did really good. I mean, going through finding the different variations and understanding it. And that lets us understand this was probably hearsay. It was probably, most likely it was for tourism. Yeah. And it was a rough story that was fed out to get interest. And then they let the public do what they do best and speculate and add to the story. So good job.
With the Banff Springs ghost, her just real fast, she had just gotten married, and she was going down to her reception. It's a curved marble staircase, which was lined with candles because, you know,
Why
it
not?
was olden days. They didn't have
Right.
electricity. And her dress caught fire. She tumbled down the marble stairs and died.
Okay.
Nothing in the newspapers about it.
Nothing.
Nothing.
And that would be in the newspapers.
Yeah. Because I searched and I'm like, nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm thinking that this was a little hoax for tourism.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Cat needs a theme song. That's right. You need like a jingle. So when we come on and do these little reports, we can go beep and play like a 20-second jingle for you. And then you can come on. Oh my gosh. I have like the oh my god, what is that? Like a 1970s commercial or something.
It's a jingle
with Cat Mac.
I love it.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for the assignment. It was lots of fun.
You're welcome, and I'm glad. I mean, you volunteered. You wanted to do it. I was like, run with it. You know, that's one less thing I have to look into. I mean, it's interesting, and I'm glad you did a great job, and it was awesome. So thank you for the story. Thank you for the background, and awesome. All right,
My pleasure. Thank you. I'll see you later.
All right.
I'm going back to the chat where I belong.
Back to the chat. And she's gone. I didn't even do that. All right. Let's see. What time is it? We got like 3 minutes. Do we have a easy question that we can bang out before we go to break? And Tim's looking at it like, let me see. I don't know. What do we got here? Oh, actually, what I have to do before we get to that, I have to say thanks to some people. I said thanks to Crow, but I want to call out Laura B. Thank you for the membership for 6 months. That's awesome. And then RJ, the thing, McReady for the 2-month membership. I appreciate it. I am doing good. Thank you for asking. And with that, yeah. Okay. So go ahead, Tim. You can pop that back up. Damn it, Bob. I don't know where my sign is. Where is your sign, Bob? You know what the problem is? I got too much shit. That's literally what the problem is, because I have so much shit around here. I don't know where anything is. But let me see. All right. So I heard the other day that after the 4th of July, that's officially Halloween season. When is it not officially Halloween season? I know Donna will agree with me. So interesting topic. Clean your office. Shut up, Tim Binga. So I love creepy stuff. I love spooky stuff. I love creepy stuff. You guys probably know that. Some of the videos that I put out, I show you the creepy rabbit that I was making, which is now morphed into something different thanks to Obscure Reference Man. Donna's all into Halloween. She loves Halloween. I don't know if she's likes it all year round, especially the creepy stuff all year round. Oh my goodness, look at this. Cree Storm. Thank you for the membership for 7 months. Colin made it sound like skeptics were bad. They are needed. They force us to ask questions we might not have. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And I saw some of the things you were saying earlier, and hopefully we can address them in the second hour, and just to explain some stuff. But what was I saying? Did Melanie steal my sign? Yeah, no, that was here. But I did rearrange some stuff. I had to move some stuff around. So it might be, it's somewhere. I'll find it. What was, oh, wow. Look at you guys. Sky Talker, Sky. Thank you for the membership for 7 months. That's awesome. Oh, wait, what was that? Me and Cree are twinsies. Halloween season. Yes. So like currently we don't argue or disagree. Like I love creepy stuff. I have some statues outside. I have like one rabbit statue that I creeped up, and it's outside. It's out front of the house, and the rabbit that I had originally painted black and put red accents all over it. Tim Binga and I were sitting down, and he came up with a great idea. It is now a white rabbit. And again, at Tim's urging, I ordered a bag of fake bones. And right now, there is half a scene set up outside of my house of the rabbit from The Search for the Holy Grail. So there's a whole bunch of bones in the yard that are all in a pile, and there's going to be the rabbit painted white. I put a clear coat on it today, so it'll be out there, and I'm going to put like red going down his lips, and I'm going to have my little beware the rabbit scene in there. So I like creepy stuff all the time. Thank you, Malachi, for the 5 months. I'm a little behind the curve, but that's nothing new. It's all right. We're all behind. But yeah, so I have that. Holy great. I haven't made one of those yet. I do have pictures because I want to make one. But yeah, I have that scene up. I love doing creepy stuff out, but I think sometimes I like, especially in the front of the house, Donna doesn't want it like so much in the front. In the back, she doesn't care. Like in the backyard, I have a big area that is not fenced in, but I have a whole bunch of weird stuff in there. I have my action figures, and I have dinosaurs now that are all in, because it's like an overgrown section. So there's dinosaurs everywhere. I get the toy dinosaurs that are like from 6 inches tall to like 14, 15 inches tall. I have those. And I have like helicopters and tanks and pterodactyls and all that throughout the whole thing. But I like creepy stuff. So I'm all for Halloween all year round. I think it's cool. I'm not into the candy thing, but I'm into the spooky stuff. So there's a killer groundhog in the back. Yeah, I know. That's a real one. But we'll see how long that lasts. All right. So we're going to go to break because it is break time. And when we come back, I will get to some of the questions because we do have a good list of questions going on. So let me find where are my videos. StreamYard changed up just a little bit, so now I'm looking for things again. There it is. Okay, so we will be back in 4 minutes and 9 seconds from now.
And now for something completely different.
Welcome my fellow skeptics, welcome one and all. I am the chief investigator. Oh, come along, old chap. We will have a ball. Now if you will excuse me, it's time to open the mic. Good night. Good night. Can you get over me? Investigating's my game, and I will have at it. Quid pro quo. As the head of this committee, hunting for ghosts can be shitty, but there is nothing better that I know. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? Let's open the bar and have some questions, alright. Maybe you might find an answer or two. I will find the truth this night and day. And if my name is not Kenny Biddle, then I assure you here I will not stay. Good day. Kenny Biddle's the name, ghost hunting's the game. I won't let anything get in my way. Too many fakers out there, too many chefs, too many tongue tappers, none of it makes any sense. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? Let's open the bar and ask some questions, alright. Maybe you might find an answer or two. Who knows? There may be ghosts in the machine, but trust me, I am not so keen. I prefer to see these things clearly, not in 144 P. I am a skeptic through and through. I question everything, don't you? If you don't think I am right, let's open mic night. Yeah, yeah. start questioning everything, don't you? If you don't think I am right, let's open mic night. Yeah. If you have an answer or two, let Kenny Biddle solve it for you. Let Kenny Biddle solve it for you. The one and only Kenny Biddle. Kenny Biddle. Kenny Biddle. Kenny Biddle.
Oh, just got a text. Something pisses me off. We got a so outside here we have a parking lot and we have a gate that's halfway through our parking lot. So we connect to like a street that way and a major road that way. And we have a gate that's up because college kids comes through and they try to cut through here. So we have a gate that we close to keep kids out or keep cars out. And the apartment complex where the kids are has these employees that run around with golf carts and they cut through here. And instead of turning around because the gate's closed, they go onto the grass. They go down into a gully on the grass and ride around in the grass and come up. And I've yelled at them once already. And I found out that they're going through again. So I'm gonna be out there tonight like a ninja. I'm gonna put some road spikes out. They piss me off, man. I told them not to do it, and they're out there anyway. So I think I'm gonna call the Amherst police and take some pictures of them. So anyway, caltrops, yeah. You know, like that's just bullshit. You just because I mean it's not like they literally go drive down into a little gully kind of thing onto the grass and go around our gate. And it's like, these aren't like, these are full-size big golf carts. And the guy that I know, right? Get off my goddamn lawn. Oh man. They're not even teenagers. They're full-grown men. And I mean, the one guy's bigger than I am. And you know, like, they're leaving impressions in the grass. And it's like, God damn, we pay to have it kept nice and maintained. Like, get your fucking golf cart off the goddamn grass. Oh, fired up. Donna's texting me. You should put a tire puncturer down there. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna sit up and spikes. I'm gonna figure out something. I'm gonna talk to the building manager and see if you're feeling lucky, punks. That's just disrespectful. You know, you just come into somebody else's property and I'm gonna have to go over there, and talk to find the manager tomorrow and say, hey, you know, like, we're not lying, but the gate went up because they were going through a 50. Yeah, wasn't normally mine. Yeah, you know, but if the gate's up, you don't come through. You just don't like, oh, I'll just drive on the grass. I don't give a shit. I don't know. I'll talk it over with Tim Monday and see what we should do, if anything. Because, you know, even though I say I own this place, I really don't. So, you know, I just pretend that I do. I pretend that I run this whole facility. It's mine. Karen Biddle, more like it. Watch it, Ian. Careful. All right. Let's see. I know we have a few questions. Let's get to some of them. Cree Storm, there are two skeptics here, and so much talk about you guys teaming up with teams that are said to be fake. Would you investigate with them? I think we touched on it a little bit when Crow was on. It really depends on what I find. I don't I don't tend to take other people's word for it, because somebody might have a bad taste in their mouth towards someone. They might not like someone. Um, I've had disagreements with like Seg and Beardo over how something might have been portrayed, or how something might have been, what's the word, fabricated. If it was faked, we disagree sometimes, and we talk about it. I mean, that's the thing. Like, we don't just, yell at each other or call each other stupid. We actually talk about it and say, like, this is what I think happened, and based on this and this and this, we talk about it. So if there was a group that reached out and said, hey, would you come out with us to a location, I would look into them. I would definitely look into them myself and verify myself what I think, and get my own impression of how they work, how open they are to discussing things, how open they are to consider new ideas, and then go from there. If I see a lot of stuff where it's just, if I see obvious signs of editing or trickery, something like that, then no, I wouldn't. If I don't see that, and it's just like they might be faking, I don't know, I would go with my primary, mission. That sounds so formal. Like my your mission, should you choose to accept it, would be to see what they're doing. See if they're setting up things, see if they're messing around, see if they're being dishonest, and then like film constantly. And on that kind of investigation, that's where like I go and I will have multiple cameras with me, like standalone cameras, and I will put them in places without telling anyone. I mean, we're all there to investigate. We're all taking footage. We're all recording everything. It's known. And I'll tell them, like, all right, so I'm going to be recording the whole night. Is that okay? Yes, great. Then I'll hide some cameras in certain places, just to see what would happen. Just to see if activity is up, like if there's specific. Yeah, I'm saying it worry. Specific activity in specific areas, then yes, I would definitely set up a camera, maybe a hidden camera, but not so hidden. Like I don't want to be purposely deceitful to people, but also I want to make sure that I'm investigating and, when I find the cause. So there you go. Oh, I also want to bring up a point. Shauna did say earlier that she talked to Ben Rafford and doesn't know if he coined the phrase anomaly hunting or if it was Joe Nickel. So that's something we might have to look into. I might look into that. Trail cams. Yeah. I don't use trail cams. I use like video. I'm looking around. Oh, yeah. Like I have like standalone video cameras like this that I'll like put on a bookshelf, just sit on a bookshelf and let it record. Trail cams are notorious for long exposures, because even when they use their infrared, they get a lot of motion blur. So I want to catch as much detail as possible. So I don't use trail cams. Plus they're expensive. Even when you buy them used, they're expensive. Shit. So yeah, that should be, hopefully I answered your question. Yeah, we can move on. That's good. I think like I'm trying to remember like the whole question. Like, did I answer everything? Do you think that some teams people claim to be real, but use the excuse we didn't say it was paranormal, do this to get a pass at things? Do you think that some teams people claim to be real? So there's a couple things. So yeah, keep this up for a while because I'm going to be referencing this. I have an issue when anyone says, well, I think this team is real. And that goes on with like, I think I did one of the Walking Thoughts videos on trust, trusting people and my thoughts on that. So this kind of goes in the same thing. Like if you say something is team is real, like, what does that mean? Like they're being honest with you, like even being honest or being real, like, yo, be real with you that doesn't mean they're always right. That doesn't mean they're correct, or it doesn't mean they're doing a good job. They could be doing what they think they're doing is a good job, but maybe they're not. They're missing steps, or they're not covering specific variables. They're not controlling for variables. They're missing a lot of data, a lot of information. So I don't get into the whole I trust this team or I think this team is real, because that, honestly, when it comes down to what they're presenting, whether you think it's real or whether you think the team is real or not, doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, because you have to verify everything anyway. You have to fact check. Doesn't matter if you're good friends with them, you've known them for 50 years, or you've known them for 5 minutes. Fact check them. So moving on, like, to be clear, to be real, but use the excuse, we didn't say it was paranormal. So if they don't say it's paranormal, then okay, maybe are they alluding to it? Like, we have to establish whether they are trying to cut corners here by not directly saying that they think it's paranormal, but they're alluding to that. When you say something like, well, we saw a shadow down there and we couldn't find any cause, so who knows? Like, that's alluding to it's a ghost. So what are they claiming? That's what I would want to know. What are you actually claiming? Or did you look for a source? And we've talked about this before, where like people hear a noise down there. I think we were talking to Crow about this. If you hear a noise down at the end of the hall, do you actually go investigate it? Or do you stay where you are and just talk about it? Because that's not investigating at all. That's just standing around being a bystander. You're just a bystander. That's all you are. So if they get a free pass, I mean, I just want to know what they're claiming. And if they're not claiming it's a ghost, if they're not claiming anything, that they just heard a noise, okay, that's it. They heard a noise. Let me see. You followed up. They allude to it, but when questioned, they say, we didn't say it was paranormal. And then others will say they didn't say it, but they sure did make people think. So yeah, I think that's being deceptive. I don't think that's being honest when you allude to it instead of just coming out and saying, like, this is what I think. I mean, if you're not sure, then say that, and don't. I don't know how to actually explain it. If you think it is, then say, I think it's this, but I'm not sure. I think that's the most honest thing you can say. Like, I'm leaning toward it because this is what my belief is, and I'm kind of hoping it is. At least you're being honest. But if you're just alluding to it, and then later on down the line, it becomes part of the lore of the location, then you didn't do your job. You let it go. You purposely let it go. You didn't try to find an explanation. So I think that's dishonest. Do they get a free pass at things? I don't know. I mean, I don't care about the theatrics. I don't care about the drama. I don't care about anything else. What are they presenting? Like, that's my approach. What are they presenting, and what are they saying it is, or what do they think it is? So if they're presenting it and just saying, I don't know what this is, that's being honest. Like, all right, let's look into it a little bit more. But if they're presenting it again with that alluding to it probably is, like, if they say, well, what else could it be? Like, that's a trigger for me. If somebody says, like, oh, we checked this and this, it might be a ghost because, what else could it be? It probably could be a few dozen other things. That's the job of an investigator, is to actually look into all those other things, and even things that you're not thinking of. Talk to other people and consult other people. Reach out and say, hey, does anyone else know what this is? Like, put it on social media and say, look, we don't know what this is. We're looking for help. We're looking for answers. We don't know what this is, and leave it at that. And if people ask questions, give the answers. Don't speculate and put your speculations in there that, well, that is where a little girl died, in that room, so maybe it's her ghost. Don't do that, because you're speculating, and you're priming everyone that you're talking to with that information. So yeah, don't do that. So I hope that answered your question. I hope so. Okay, they do say that on occasion. Yeah, there you go. But do they need? Let me see. I'm trying to. This is weird. I have the comments that are up on screen with me, and then I have the comments on the side, and I'm trying to see. Like, I'm reading both of them at the same time. But they need to put that in the same video, so months down the line, people do. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. They need to say that in it. If they're putting a video on YouTube and they're showing something that's kind of strange, make it clear at that time. We don't know what this is. And then maybe do a follow-up at the end of the video. Say, hey, look, like, we had this, we're reviewing everything from the night. We did have this strange noise. We don't know what it is. It's strange because we can't figure it out. So if you can help us out, please do so. And be open to suggestions. Be open to, people's comments. Sometimes you're going to get weird comments and, like comments that are based on just belief anyway. But at least you can have conversations about it and maybe figure it out. Maybe someone will have tips, or they have been there before and they heard that noise, and they can give you an idea like, hey, last time we were there, we heard a similar noise and it was this. And then you can go back and check it. So good question. All right. Do you think maybe you use wordplay a bit too much sometimes, Kenny? You call this your skeptic help bar. So, to just a correction, this is the skeptical help bar. That says skeptical, so not skeptic. And I do know that, like, I have that stand that I have that says the skeptic is in. So what I'll say with that is, yeah, I don't normally refer to myself as a skeptic. I do sometimes. I'll admit, yes, I do sometimes. And even in that, I use that. It's not a joke. It's more of just having fun with it, because people do refer to me as a skeptic. So I'm not trying to correct everyone and say, don't call me a skeptic. I'm not trying to have an argument about that, because people are going to call me what they want to call me. I mean, I could just as easily say it's the asshole help bar. But that is more of just having fun with it. And just showing people that I'm not going to be so confrontational, that I'm willing to have a conversation and talk to you and have a conversation. So when it comes to wordplay, I don't know. You'd have to give me more specific situations. Like with this, yeah, I have fun with it. I usually try to say I have a skeptical approach. Or I take a skeptical approach, which means that I'm looking at things because I have doubt. Wait. I thought your middle name was Skeptic. I don't want to argue at all. I actually laughed. I mean, I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing, because I understand, like, it's confusing. Sometimes I guess overall my thought process is that I don't want to argue if I don't have to. I don't want to have a fight. I don't want people to approach me at a conference, especially when it's a paranormal conference. I don't want people approaching me and thinking like, well, we're on either side of the fence and it's either this or that. And sometimes people treat me more as a cynic than a skeptical person. So I want people to understand, like, when they see this booth that says the skeptic is in, it's fun. It makes people laugh, and it puts them in a lighter mood, and it makes me more approachable. So if that helps in that instance, that's what I'm going to do. And I have worn a shirt. I know there's pictures of me that I had a shirt that said Token Skeptic. And it was having fun with it, because when I wear that, it's with a group of like real diehard believers. And it was more just having fun. And when they saw it, every one of them laughed. Even though they're diehard believers, they laughed, not because they were, making fun of me, but they laughed because it was, it was like, oh, all right, this guy's okay. He's not so bad. So I don't really take it seriously. And I guess when when people point out like, oh, he's just a skeptic, that's where I think the confusion comes in. Like, because I don't understand, like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean when you call me just the skeptic? Is it because to me that means, oh, he's just the guy that has doubts about claims? Where I think other people, when they use that phrase, especially towards me or anyone like me, it's more, oh, he's just the guy that doesn't believe anything. So I don't know if am I making sense? I don't know if I am or not. I really don't. I really don't know if I'm making any sense. Let me read some of the comments here. Let's see. See, I don't look at. I'm gonna start going through some of these. See, I don't look at skeptic as closed-minded. Just that they ask harder questions and make a person keep going back. Yeah. I mean, I don't want them closed-minded. That's somebody that's already made up their mind. They don't want to change it. Excuse me. And they don't care what you say. They've already got it in their head what they want or what they believe, and you're not going to change their mind. And there's cynical people that are like that, as well as diehard believers. I don't want to be like that because I've learned to change my beliefs or get rid of beliefs over the years. So I want to be open-minded. I want to listen. I want to hear people's details, their stories, what they're doing, how they're approaching things, and understand where they're coming from. And if they present something because they believe it to be true, let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. So I get it. Let's see. You write for Skeptical Inquirer. I just assume that means you use like approach. Yeah. And it's funny, like some people, I mentioned earlier, there was a podcast that one of the guests, there were two guests on the podcast and they mentioned me. They brought me up and they talked about how I used to be a paranormal investigator, which again, I mean, I still investigate paranormal claims. So it's not like I abandoned that. Or actually the way they were using it, it sounded more like you could only be a paranormal investigator if you believe in the paranormal, which I think is incorrect. But they also brought up the idea that because now I work for this organization full time, that my approach is skewed. That I'm going to always be a hard sell, and I'm going to be more skeptic or more skeptical. And I'm not being more skeptical. I'm being exactly the same skeptical. the same amount of skeptical as I was years ago, but like I'm still having doubts just because I work for an organization that promotes science and reason. That's our tagline. We promote science and reason. We also promote skepticism, which is doubt about extraordinary claims. So I'm not going to abandon my own personal values, which is looking for the truth, just because I work here. And that was made clear when I was hired, because I told them, like, I'm not just saying shit's not real because I work here. I'm going to investigate everything the way I always investigate. And they were like, that's what we want. So it's not like I'm giving into a bias. I'm still doing everything that I do, or that I did. I'm still doing everything that I did years ago with investigating, but I'm doing it better. I have more time, better resources to do my job the way it should be done. So this is awesome. This is great. It's great. Let me see. What's Florio? Hey, Florio, how you doing? I think you are like a skeptical believer. You want to find evidence and you are still excited to find answers, but you are highly logical first. I wouldn't call myself a skeptical believer because I don't have anything to believe in. I haven't found any evidence of an afterlife or ghosts or aliens visiting the planet or Bigfoot or anything like that. So I actually don't have the believer side yet, but I'm open to it. I think that's what it is. Like I approach things in a skeptical manner. I have doubts. I ask a lot of questions. And you're right with the second part is that I want to find evidence, and I do get excited. I'm so excited. I mean, I can't tell you how many times Obscure Reference Man is in here and we're talking in the morning and we're working out details and we're figuring things out. And like things come up and we get excited. Both of us actually get excited. Like, holy shit, I think we got it. I think we found an answer, or this and that. Or like I'll show him something that I discovered. He shows me something he discovered. It's fat. I love that. The investigation part is the excitement here. And whatever the investigation concludes, like that's what I'm going with. So it's not that I'm trying to prove everything to be fake or false or a mistake. I'm looking for the truth. And if all the data one day points to this is probably real or likely real, like a ghost, so be it. And that's it. There's nothing else to say, you know? And I think that's what many of the people that we've been talking about, like describing, don't understand. You guys understand it, I think, because I've said it so many times, but I think so many people outside that I don't engage with so much don't realize, like, I'm open to this. And I want to believe, you know, Fox Mulder, woohoo! Actually, the Lone Gunmen are my favorite. I like them better than Fox. But yeah, I would love it to be true. And because it would be so fascinating, like a whole nother world, literally, to explore. But I just don't have any beliefs in it right now. So I hope that answered that question. And like, I mean, I know we went really off the rails and went into it, but I like doing that. I hope you guys too. I like going into like a deep discussion like that. Oh, look at this. Makers of the Dead Travel Fast. Thank you for is it Australian for 450? Thank you. Awesome. That's awesome. Very cool. Very, very cool. All right, Tim, you're up. RJ the Thing McReady. Am I saying that right? McReady or McReady? McReady 1 and 2 would be McReady. Let me or McReady would be number 2. Let me know in the comments which one I'm doing. So I've always would like to hear your thoughts on the whole Bell Witch. How much do you think was made up and how much was just exaggerated? Drink. Thanks, Tim. So let me pull up an article. Military veterans paranormal. My friend Melanie, another Melanie, not Melanie Tracy King, but my other friend Melanie, did a deep dive into the Bell Witch. And a few years ago, we actually went down to visit her in Tennessee. And then me, my Donna, and Melanie, and a friend of ours, a friend of Melanie's, we went and visited the Bell Farm and the Bell Cave, and took the whole tour and all that. So I'm trying to find, I know that she wrote an article, like let me see, an article deep dive into it and all the claims and the stories and what was true and not, and it was well researched. Bell Witch. Let me see if it comes up. No, that's not it. That's not it. Oh, that sucks. I thought it was all right. I'm gonna write this down in my notes and get that posted. Let me see. RJ. A thing. Let me see. All right. Sorry. I was distracted for a second. All right. So I'm going to try and get that article for you because I don't see it right now. And I want to make sure I have it. I get the right one and I don't see it, but I'll get that to you. I'll post that and I'll see if I can tag you in it. I wrote your name down so that I can remember who asked that question. But as far as I remember, when I'm trying to think back, I think a lot of it was embellished. A lot of the story came from a diary. I think John Bell had a diary, an alleged diary that was not authenticated. And no one else except the author of the book that wrote about this whole experience was the only one that saw this alleged diary. So, and again, I'm trying to go from memory here, so I might be wrong. So don't quote me on this. That's a funny phrase. Don't quote me on this. But I do believe that no one has actually seen that diary and has been able to authenticate it. So it's suspect from the beginning. And then a lot of the stuff with the land and stuff. I don't want to go into too much because I don't remember, and I didn't do the research myself. So I will find that article for you, and I will post it and tag you or find a way to get it to you. But good question. Good question. All right. Moving on. Let's see. Tim's in the background doing a great job. Love it. Let's see. John without an H. Hello, my friend. I know this is getting into dangerous territory. Oh, geez. Here we go. But have there been any SI articles on the Jeffrey Epstein unaliving? Didn't want you to say S word on YouTube. That's a weird thing. Like, first and foremost, can I say suicide on YouTube? So the helpline comes up first. Google help. Stop saying committed suicide. Why do we keep saying? I don't know. I don't see any actual rules that we can't say that. I mean, is there something out there that says we can't say that word? I don't know. Anyway, that I don't know. I don't get into that. Yeah, I know. I just said it. So I mean, I shouldn't be laughing. I'm sorry. That's not a laughing matter. I don't understand. Yeah, if there's like a ban on it or something like that. I mean, I don't monetize these videos, so it doesn't really matter. So if that's what the problem is, like demonetization, I don't monetize the lives. So as far as I know, I don't know. Honestly, I don't follow. This is not something that I do follow. So, I mean, if it's not like paranormal related, I don't really follow it. So, let's see. Nothing has been written on Epstein and SI at this point. Okay. So that's from Tim Binga. And, so yeah, nobody has. So if you want to do something, go ahead. I don't know if it would be published or not. I don't know. That would have to go through the editor. So, all right. Yeah, I had no idea about that one. Kellex D. Has anyone done any research on how long a haunting can actually last at a location? As long as you have ticket sales. I'm sorry. That's the first thing that popped into my head. So I guess over the years I've read a bunch of stories. So like most of the shelf here from top to bottom is all regional ghost stories. And there's also a couple of shelves on like 2 or 3 of the bookshelves over on that side of the room that are regional book stories. And I've read through them all. So the time can vary. You can have an alleged haunting happen for a month. You can have it happen for a century or more. It really depends on the story, the popularity of the story, if people still are interested in the story. Bazinga. Oh man, that's really the first thing. Like all I can think of is like all these locations that charge ghost hunters like ridiculous amount of money. And as long as the ticket sales are constant, or consistent, that haunting will last forever. But yeah, it depends on the popularity and if it's in the news, if it gets a resurgence, because sometimes like it'll die down and then it'll get a resurgence. because a documentary came out or the anniversary of a tragedy happened. So it brings up the story of it again, and people get interested, especially now. Like since the late 90s, early 2000s up to now, paranormal locations have been popular. So things that might have missed the mark in the 90s or even before that in like the 60s and 70s, like now you're going to have people traveling to those are tourist spots. So yeah, you can, if there's any inkling of a ghost story and an opportunity to get in there, you're going to have ghost hunters that are going to be there. You're going to have the haunting story. And again, I'm kind of focusing on like, you know, poking fun a little bit, but there are people that sincerely think that their house is haunted. And then I guess it depends on who they contact after that. If they contact a local ghost hunting group, it depends on the group. If the group maintains more of a critical thinking and a skeptical approach, which isn't a bad thing. But if they go in and they find natural causes for it and solve the mystery, great. It usually ends there. But if you have a group that is not so sure and they use a lot of the standard ghost hunting equipment and get their beeps and lights and flickering and stuff like that, there's no telling how long a haunting might last, because if they spread a rumor, it might get into a book and then become more popular. Other people will want to go there and it'll continue on. It'll mushroom a little bit and then probably like steady or peter out and level out. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Leanne says UK hauntings last centuries, but yeah, so it really depends on the on the story, the people involved, who promotes it, and how popular it is. So, but good question. I mean, that's a, I don't think that really has an answer, but good question. Haunting movie or video about it. Oh my God, that means the Conjuring house is going to last forever, even though it's closed. I know, that's good. You can put that up if you want. Has anyone done any research on how long? Oh, we did that one. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm good with this one. We can move on to the next question. Would it be possible? Hey, Wayne Dawson, would it be possible to be able to debunk from people's paranormal stories without any video proof or photo evidence? So I would say you wouldn't be able to debunk 100%, because if you have no physical evidence, when you have physical evidence, which includes a photograph or a video or something like that, it's something to analyze and something to look at, and we can pick it apart and say, okay, well, this detail corresponds to this or this and that. We can really do a full analyzation of the physical evidence and go from there. But when you have nothing except for an anecdote, which is the person's story, then you can talk about it and we can speculate. So this is the majority of cases that I get are people that tell me stories. They reach out, email or phone call or something like that, and say, this happened to me. Can I run it by you? Yes. Tell me. And they will tell me the story, and I'll ask questions. I'll ask clarifying questions at certain points. You know, I want more detail on this. Like, what did you see? If they have a description of like an apparition, for example, I want more detail. Just don't tell me you saw somebody down at the end of the hall. Like, what else did you see? What else did you notice at the time? Did you notice anything at the time? Let's get into all these details. And when I ask all the questions and I get as much information as they can offer, then we can speculate. We can say, oh, well, okay, so it might be this, it might be that, it could be this, it could be shadows from this room. It helps if we go on location. Like if I can get to the scene of the crime, per se. Is that it, per se? I don't think so. If I get to the scene of the experience, then we can take a deeper look. We can look at more details. We can look at the hallways and doorways and windows and access and all this stuff, and look at everything and come up with a little bit better idea, because you can speculate. I can speculate from here, from this chair. I can speculate. If I do research on a location, historical research, if the part of the claim has historical figures, I can get better and more narrowed speculation based on research. If I visit the location, we can narrow down the speculation even more, because we have much more information to work with. So, can you debunk it? Not entirely. You can offer ideas to explore, but that's pretty much it. I mean, I wouldn't say it was debunked unless you're actually on location and you go through the motion and you can recreate that experience. And again, not again, because I didn't say it yet, but you can recreate a situation or an experience, and it may not be exact, but that doesn't mean that it solves the mystery. It also doesn't mean it doesn't solve the mystery, because all the variables that were in place for that original experience might not be available. So you might not get an exact match. And in my experience, you don't get an exact match all the time. You get pretty close. You can get like 99.9% and lower. But if you can get something that's very close, you can demonstrate that, hey, it could happen with this. And if we adjust the variables a little bit, lighting condition, time of day, temperature, whatever, we might be able to get it bang on to like 100% or closer to 100%. So, yeah, I think that's all I can say about that. So hopefully that satisfied your question. It was a good question. We get some good questions tonight. I like this. Have you posted my bookmark yet? Did I? I don't think I did. I did. I will. Did I? I don't think I did. I'm going to have to do that. Post Pinky's bookmark. I will say that, especially the last week or so, to be honest, for those that aren't aware, we had a death in the family, and it's been complicated. So I don't want to go into detail. I don't need to, but my mind has been elsewhere for the last week, probably a little bit longer than a week. So if I haven't done stuff, I apologize. It's just something happened suddenly, and it was literally a drop everything and go kind of situation. So I really just left and sent an email to HR and just said I need time off, and they said fine, cool. And I've been preoccupied, so I apologize if I haven't posted pictures or anything like that. So it's my bad. I'm catching up. So that's all I'll say, because I don't want to go into it. But yeah, I wrote that down, so I'll get that up. All right, next, debunk the junk. How do you get people to not drink the Kool-Aid? It's so hard because it tastes so good. I mean, Kool-Aid, he got that big Kool-Aid man, like, bam! Oh yeah. I guess, how do I go through this? I mean, it depends on the situation, really. If someone is coming to you and asking for your opinion or wants to ask you about something, and you have a discussion, have a conversation. Don't fight. Don't raise your voice. Talk about like what they believe in, why they believe. And if they're looking for answers, then you can talk about it. Some people aren't looking for answers. They're curious about what you think, and they don't want you to like explain their beliefs, which is cool. You got to feel it out. I mean, that's fine. If they don't want to talk about it, you don't push, because if you push, they're going to get angry. because you're trying to force your own ideas onto somebody else, which is not something I promote. I mean, if people want to listen to my ideas, that's good. That's why you guys are here. You want to listen. If you don't watch. So obviously none of them people are watching. But you can talk about why, the reasons behind their beliefs, and then go little by little. Say, all right, well, let's take this reason why you believe. Let's look at this closer. What's the reasoning? Has it been because you grew up with this and you were told from the beginning, like, this is how it is? Have you ever fact checked it? Maybe we should look into it and see if, like, historical figures that are part of this story, were they true? Are they real? Did they exist? If they believe stuff like flat Earth or something like that, that's a whole, oh my goodness, that's a headache. But if they do, like, talk about, like, why, and one thing at a time. I think that's the best advice. One thing at a time, and talk about it, discuss it, bring up information, and if you can provide enough information that satisfies that claim, make sure it's understood before you move on. That are we done with this topic? Like, are you satisfied that the information I provided answers this problem, this issue you have? And if they don't acknowledge that, then don't move on. If they want to just jump to another topic, say, you know what, this is not my kind of conversation, I'm going to back out, because we have to finish one at a time. I'm not going to jump or play hopscotch with different topics, because if I said something or provided information that maybe made you realize maybe your belief isn't so true, and then instead of acknowledging that, you jump to another topic to avoid it, that's not a conversation I want to stay in, because it's just not getting anywhere. So let me see. Houston. Oh, yeah. So we can. Tim. He was asking about questions. I can take that banner off. Let's see. What time is it? Yeah. I mean, we can go a little bit more. If you can go a little bit further, Tim, tonight, like, I'm good. If you want to go a little bit longer, let me know. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question. It probably didn't really. The best you can do is just provide information. It depends on the Kool-Aid you're talking to. Like, are we talking religion? Are we talking conspiracy theories? Are we talking homeopathy or something like that? Like, it depends on the situation and the topic at hand, because there are different approaches to these, and the volume of information itself varies depending on the topic. Okay, you're good to go. Awesome. All right. With that, let's move on to another question, because I hope I answered that question. I'm not sure if I did, but hopefully. Florio, Kenny, have you thought about doing a Substack? I don't know what that is. Where you put show notes every week, questions asked and answered if you find them later, or if they have happened live. So I've heard of Substack. I don't know what it is. I haven't played with it. I have not touched it. I don't know what it is. I haven't thought about it because I'm still. We'll talk. Obscure reference man will school me on Monday. I guess when it comes to notes and stuff like this, I'm definitely old school, and I do like having these questions up, because if sometimes different people will ask the same question, and instead of going to one, I don't like having one set answer for a question, because sometimes there's variances or variations in the question. So it might require a little bit of different explanation or an additional explanation with it. So, I mean, I'll look into it. I'll talk to Tim on Monday, and we'll see if that's something that's worth me doing. But I haven't considered it because I don't know what it is. And if I'm not doing a live like Friday nights or or like Tuesday when I do a TikTok live on Tuesday nights, I'm usually buried right here doing research and doing experiments out there for videos and stuff like that. So I don't know if I want to, there's a time commitment, which is not good because I don't have the time to do it. I mean, you guys look, that whiteboard up there, you can probably see some, I'm trying to get it. So there you go. You can see all those things are listed there. Those are all projects that I am currently working on. And as soon as they're done, as soon as I erase something off, I have more to put on. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 lines that don't have anything listed, but I have things to put in there. I just haven't written them on the board yet. So it might be too much of a time commitment for me. But thank you for this suggestion. I appreciate it. I learning about new things, and like I've heard about Substack, I just haven't gotten into it. So I'm babbling now. I don't know what it is, but I'll find out Monday. All right, let's take one more question, and then we'll go to our next break. What are your thoughts with the Sneezing Monkey channel and his debunks? The Sneezing Monkey? I don't know if I know them. Let me see. Is that actually the name? The Sneezing Monkey. I know Justin. Sneezing Monkey. Let me see. Let me see what comes up. The Sneezing Monkey. Oh, wait. Okay. I debunk paranormal claims, UFOs, aliens, and other supernatural nonsense through the entertaining lens. Let me go to his channel. Oh, wait. Shh. There was a automatic video. Through the entertaining lens of internet culture. Okay. Let me see. He's done. Let's look at it together. As soon as I figure out, how do I do this? They changed my freaking control. All right. There. And what's that? That one. Let's share. So you can see. There it is. So let's see. The Boogosphere debunked. Columbia River spheres UFOs explained. 3+ hour. I won't watch 3 hours. Aerial school UFO incident explained in Zimbabwe. Oh, I think we did. I know there's a Skeptical Inquirer article about that. Popular videos. Is Bob Lazar lying? Yes. Fixed in 2 minutes. Tour of the Enterprise D. Oh, Unreal Engine. Let's see. What else do these have? Did Dr. Steve Greer fake UFOs using flares? I think I looked into that particular case, and they were flares. This is interesting. It looks like a lot of UFO stuff. And gamers. So many debunkers are gamers. So yeah, I'll take a look at this, and maybe watch some videos, and maybe we'll talk to them. I'm looking at some people. There was recently Beardo did a video about another channel. I forget exactly who they are. But it was a small ghost hunting channel thing, and they just did a video where they fake stuff. They intentionally fake things because apparently, like all their ghost hunts, nothing happens. It's kind of boring, but they don't fake anything. And they faked it, but put a disclaimer in the description. But you had to click see more to actually see the disclaimer, which I think was the plan, where they fake stuff, and it was their highest viewed video. And then they immediately did another video explaining that they faked it just as an experiment to see how many people would just openly believe them. I think they were really cool, and I want to have them on. I'm going to reach out to them and try to have them on here and just talk to them, and just say, hey, like what inspired this? Let's chat. So that might be fun. All right, let's take a break because I got to pee. Let's play. Where is it? We got Tim Vickers' song. There it is. So we will be back in 2 minutes and 4 seconds from now.
Tim Vickers is his name. Moderating is the game. with me. Let's the show go into hour 3 or 4. But if you really, we'll show you the door. You've been figured. You've been figured. You've been figured. You've been figured. We're not physics, history, animals and a good mystery. Misconceptions he loves to slay. He's an easygoing chap, calls it bullet, a tiara or a cat. Cat skeptical talks all day. Let the show go into hour 3 or 4. But if you really, we'll show you the door. You've been figured. You've been figured so long. You've been figured. You've been figured. Let the show go into hour 3 or 4. But if you really, we'll show you the door. You've been figured. You've been figured. You've been figured. You've been figured.
I love reading comments like that. Yeah, it's so funny. Like we do, Tim and I and Dave Schumacher, we do a once a month show called Three Tortured Souls, and it's like we drink during it. So, and usually Tim is feeling pretty good at the end because he drinks like spiked coffee, but I'm feeling good too. But it's supposed to be an hour show, and at the end of the hour, like all of us, such old people, we're such old men. It's like we got to pee so bad. It's like we end the show. It's like, all right, guys, all right, you know what? I'm gonna go. See you later. Oh man. Anyway, all right. So we're gonna stay on for a little bit longer. We got a couple more questions we're gonna get through. So no more questions because I do have to get up early and do a presentation tomorrow, so I can't be up too late. So let's get into it. Let's see what else we got. Wayne Dawson, is there any truth that an avalanche is the cause for the diatol? Oh, the that thing, as there is evidence to suggest that it's something else. As far as I know, that's a story. Let me see. That is a story about like there were I don't even know. I'm trying to copy the text off the screen, which it won't let me do it. So this is a story about people climbing up a mountain. Let's say a decades-old mystery surrounding the deaths of 9 experienced hikers in the Ural mountains is most likely explained by a slab avalanche that forced the group to flee their tent in the middle of the night. While the exact circumstances remain debated, recent investigations and simulations have pointed to this explanation as the most plausible. So yeah, there was this a team of experienced hikers went up this mountain, and I guess later on their tents and bodies were found. It looked like some of them didn't have their boots on. Some of them, the scene indicated there was a emergency. There was something that happened suddenly, and they had to get out. They had very short warning. Is that what I want to say? Yeah. They had very little warning before it happened. So as far as I know, as far as the information that I heard last time that I heard this story, that I looked at this story, was that it was most likely an avalanche. And if there's anything else, Like, I don't know when you're saying as there is other evidence that suggests it's something else. Like, I don't know what you mean by something else. Are you thinking that it's like aliens or something? I don't know what you're alluding to here. So as far as I know, it was an avalanche. That was the most likely cause. But again, there's some details that are unresolved. Let me say, unexplained details. Some aspects of the incident, such as the bizarre injuries, fractured skulls, broken ribs, and the missing tongue of one hiker, remain unexplained, but are consistent with the avalanche theory when considering the potential for blunt force trauma. Yeah, so fractured skulls, broken ribs, I wouldn't consider that anything of a mystery, considering what likely happened. Missing tongue could be because of a wild animal. Maybe that was because it's soft tissue, something they looked at. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. Original speculation was a Yeti. Oh, Ben wrote about it in probably SI, right? So yeah. Let's see. Oh, a possible. There you go. There's a link. A photo of a possible Bigfoot was captured by one of their cameras. Also, was there? Let me see. Let's look into this. Oh wait, was that a? No, that wasn't it. Let's see. SI. And I will. Let me see. Pass. Let's go in the search engine here. Let's share the screen so you guys can watch me work, because it's so exciting. It's not. Let's see. Search engine. Put this in here. Ben Rafford. Discovery Mountain mystery mongering. The mass murdering Yeti. I wonder if there's a picture. Russian Yeti. I doubt that's the picture. There's some pictures. Missing tongue. Missing a tongue. I immediately knew it was not a cause of an avalanche. Here we can bring skeptical of Ray Hyman's categorical imperative, which says that before trying to explain something, we should make sure there is something to explain, which is good advice. In other words, question your assumptions. For example, there's a mundane, simple answer. Yeah. For why the tongue is missing, then we don't need to begin speculating about what may have taken her tongue, whether leprechauns, aliens, or Yeti. As it happens, a tongue-eating Yeti, even assuming it exists, is by far the least likely explanation for a missing tongue. The missing parts aspect of this case is a familiar one to skeptics and has been invoked in countless other unsolved mysteries, including the chupacabra, cattle mutilations, satanic animal sacrifices, and aliens. Typically a mystery, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm moving down here. Furthermore, the process I can leave far greater. Actually, yeah. Furthermore, the process of actually ripping out the woman's tongue would leave far greater injuries to the mouth, jaw, and head than were found. So I'm going to post this. Oh, Shauna already posted this. I would look at human behavior before freezing to death. Yeah. There's other explanations. The idea, I don't know about the photo. I don't see a photo in here. Let me see if there's photo Bigfoot, or no, we'll do Yeti, because if he wrote Yeti photo, can I spell? No. Oh, that is a picture. Are you serious? One of the last known pictures taken by hikers. That does not look like a hiker. I mean, look, we look at this picture here. That's what it looks like. It's just gear. It looks like someone in gear, and it's out of focus. That's all. That's just an out of focus picture because the camera tried to focus on the tree in front, but it didn't. So, I mean, if that's the photo that you're talking about, yeah, that is the photo. Yeah. I mean, my first glance at this, no, this looks to me exactly like a person that's in some kind of like gear. Because I mean, they're the weather gear. So yeah, I wouldn't claim this is a photo of a Yeti or a Bigfoot or anything like that. It's just it's just a bad picture. I don't want to laugh because it's not a funny thing because so many people died. But yeah, it's not. I wouldn't consider this anything supernatural at all. But that's good. I mean, it's always good to look into. Aren't Yetis supposed to be white? That is a myth that I learned recently because I thought the same thing, but it was how they were portrayed in some pictures later on. But as far as I know, Yeti were pretty much Bigfoot, same color, like black, brown, dark brown color. They weren't white until later on, where that shifted, that detail kind of shifted to put it in more of a snow setting. It's interesting. It's pretty interesting. Okay. I can't put my arms down. That's what it looks like. Come on, Ralphie. Ralphie, help me. I can't put my arms down. All right. Do you do investigations outside of the paranormal side? Once in a while. It depends on the situation and how involved I can be. I've done some cool stuff, and I have to give credit. Ben Rafford is actually like the source of some of the weird ones that I've done. One was one of the most popular ones that I did was the Elvis Presley in Home Alone. So that wasn't paranormal. It wasn't associated with paranormal, but it was the conspiracy theory that Elvis Presley appeared in the movie Home Alone. And that's on Skeptical Inquirer. That's one of my most popular articles because it every year around Christmas time, it becomes more popular. So that I went into that, and that was thanks to Ben because somebody asked him a question about it, and he did he did a like I don't know if it was one page kind of thing. In Skeptical Inquirer, he has like a column where he has a question that's posed by a viewer or a reader, and then he answers it. So he went into that for a little bit, but I forget how it came about. I think he reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do a deeper dive into it. And I was like, yeah, cool. It wasn't an impersonator. It was just a guy. It was an extra that looked similar if Elvis was older. But yeah, it wasn't an impersonator. He was not an impersonator. There's an article in SI about it. I will post that link because it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite articles because it was just so much fun. And fun. I always feel weird when I say fun because it deals with different topics. The fun for me is the investigation part, and I think you guys realize that. But it's interesting to me to be able to get into these mysteries. There it is. And get into people's lives and connect with people. So I'm going to put that link in the chat if you want to check it out after the show. And you can read about that. But other mysteries, there was one, again, from Ben, where it was a photo that was taken by a child out the back window of a car of an alleged UFO. And it was kind of obvious that it was fake, but he couldn't find a match. And he sent it to me and asked if I could look into it a little bit, which I did. And I was able to find it. That, and then there was a cool little mystery that was, it was a postcard. Ben had purchased a book online. I think I'm getting the story right. He purchased a book online, and inside somebody had used a postcard or a photograph. I think it was a postcard as a bookmarker, and in the top corner it said Radford, which was a cool coincidence since his name is Ben Radford. To order a book from another state in the country and have it come with a postcard that had his name on it. And so we looked into it, and he asked if he made a comment on his podcast. Strange Freak. No, is it? No. Oh my God. Squaring the Strange. That's it. He made a comment on there like, "Oh, Kenny will probably solve this by the end of the show." And I was listening at the time, and I was like, "Oh, well, let me see if I can look into this." And I did. I was able to find the original photographer and figure out that it was. I forget what it was. I forget what it was. It was either, I don't think it was the photographer. I think it was well, it might have been the photographer, or it might have been the school where he was taking photos for, that was named Rafford. But we did solve it. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of these mysteries that I look into. Some of them I publish, some of them I don't, but it's just more of an exercise outside. The last one was the mailbox, my mailbox that got destroyed, and we were able to figure out too much rum. There's never enough rum. All right, that's enough examples. I'll move on. Sandra Peachy. Hello, dear. Kenny, did you happen to check your emails? I sent you pictures. You did? Like just now? Let me see. Let me see. Because I have been trying to catch up. The mailbox was brilliant. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was fun. That was actually really fun. Let me see. When did you send the pictures? Let me know. Because then I can look. Because I have a lot of emails. There's another big project that I've been working on that has a lot of emails associated with it. But let me know when you sent the email, and then I'll take a look. A little while ago. Okay. If you can find, if it's pictures, I'll take a look and go through, because I can see what ones have attachments on it. And if I find it, I'll ooh, what's that? I shouldn't be looking at this stuff. What did I order? Oh, I did order something. Okay, never mind. Talking to myself. All right, so let me see. Nope. Sandra Peachy. All right, so I will look for an email from you. Locate email. So I may have looked at it. I probably did, but I was just maybe busy at the time, and I didn't follow up with it. So I'll take a look. All right, where are we going? Squirrel. I know. Feeling good. Got a little rum in me. Trying to do a lot. All right, can you show Isabel again for people who missed it? Sorry if names are, yeah. So there it is. There you go. Picked it up at a flea market. Picked up the doll at the flea market because I thought it was cool. I was like, yellow hair, that's awesome. That's different. So I got this, and I made the I found the tarot card somewhere, and that says the drinker on it, which is perfect. We have Isabel engraved on the front. It says just as dangerous as Annabelle, which is not. And then over here, go ahead, test them side by side. So this is out there for, what's his name? What's the guy's name? That owns it now, that takes it around and does the tour and stuff. I forget what his name is. But if he sees this is what I'm claiming, that this is just as haunted as Annabelle. And if you want to go side by side, we can figure out, we can work out some tests to test if they're haunted or not, depending on what claims you're making. Because I mean, honestly, it's if this thing came alive, I think it could get out. It's not Zach Baggins. What's his name? I like the whole thing. I painted it though. It's got a nice Tony Sparrow, something like that. Tony Sparrow, something like that. Yeah. So if he's out there and he's watching, just okay, he's resent it. Let me see. God damn. Oh, there it is. All righty. I mean, do you want me to look at these now? Is that oh, I didn't see these. I did not see these. So let me see. Spira. Spira? It's a weird name. I suck at names anyway. So I'm not being insulting. I'm not being like, I'm mocking them or anything. You guys know I'm horrible with names. Later at night, Kenny Fine goes to Squishy. Nice job. Drink. All right. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the photos now, and if you want, I can give you an opinion on them if you don't mind it live. But if you don't want it live, then I can respond to you later. Nice TARDIS. That's for Tim, because since Tim is in the background instead of Donna tonight, I put the TARDIS up there so he has his own frame for when he does the background stuff. So yeah, I'll wait and see if you respond. Up to you. Okay. All right. So let me share this. This is cool. We'll get to do a live critique. I guess. All right. So let me see if I can get this better positioned. No, it's just gonna. All right, it's sharing the whole screen. Anyway, all right. So what we're looking at here are two pictures, obviously taken sometime apart. One is closer than the other. Is this? Yeah, because they're showing different things. Okay, real or not real. So what I'm going to say is, obviously, I think we're focused on right here, which looks like somebody leaning out this doorway, which is this doorway here. Comparing the two, we can see there's an obvious difference. But also comparing the two and looking at them, the flash did not fire on the camera. So whatever camera you were using, no, the flash didn't fire. And this is a long exposure image. And we can see that there's telltale details, specifically that there's no flash reflection here on the floor. There's no flash illumination anywhere on the walls, which it should be. If a flash went off, these lights are way too bright. These ones are way too bright, and you usually get the starlight pattern, the sparkle pattern, when you're using a camera without a flash, and it's not a great lens. But sometimes you get it with a good lens anyway. But I would say this is most likely, just based on this, I would say this is probably somebody that leaned out at the time and realized that you were taking a picture and leaned back in, because it probably, I would say, if you can send me the original, because I don't think this will show me file info. No. All right. So this isn't showing me the information. It's two pictures combined into one. If you can send me the original raw images, both of them, then I can get some information off of those to understand it better. But I would say the exposure time was probably maybe half a second or so, or somewhere around there. And that would give someone enough time to kind of look out and go back in, because there is no flash on and you're dealing with ambient light and it is a distance away. I don't know if the second picture here is zoomed in or if you actually moved closer, or if this is a cropped version of another. Is this cropped of a different picture? I mean, there are two different pictures, but is this a cropped version of a larger image? That's what I would need to know, and then go from there. But yeah, I don't, because it's a long exposure, I wouldn't say this is a ghost at all. This actually looks like somebody that's in a uniform. It looks like they have a collar, like a whitish collar, But because it's a long exposure, things get distorted. So I don't know for sure. Use the Samsung phone, no flash, no cropping, 2 separate pics. Okay, 2 separate pics. So you moved closer on the second one because this one is further away. We see the whole. These are usually like for laundry, like sheets and stuff like that, or yeah, with the white top. It's for laundry. And then we see this is much closer here. The whole overall scene, we're much closer to the green sign. Yeah. So I would say if you can send me the original images alone, not put together like this, but the original images that came right off the camera, and then I can pull the information from the XF file and see what the shutter speed was and all that stuff. So, and then we'll go from there. But that was good. That was good. I like that. I like being able to look at stuff like that in real time because it's fun. We all get to learn about what I like, things I look at like that. Definitely. I mean, there's definitely something there in the second picture, but I don't think it's a ghost per se. I think somebody might have popped out and realized you were there and just went back in. So that would be my guess without any further information. All right, cool. Is there anything else? Yeah. Okay. Tim's like right on the ball. James Menace, could you go over your experiences with debating or talking about paranormal beliefs and the logical fallacies that believers fall into? So there's a bunch of logical fallacies. I mean, you can look them up. There's a ton of them out there. Some of them that I deal with are more where, like, moving the goalposts. That's a fallacy that I deal with a lot, where someone will tell me a story, I'll offer an explanation, a possible explanation for it, and instead of acknowledging that, yeah, this could be a possible cause, they will move the goalpost, which means that they will change the story or add additional information that they didn't originally offer. Sometimes they make up on the spot to try to say that your explanation doesn't apply. And then they'll keep doing that over and over again. Like, what about this? Or what about this? Or what about that? They keep adding details over and over. So if you're going to present someone with like an experience, make sure you give them all the information, or wait for the questions. If they can ask you questions, then clarify, but don't withhold information until they give you. Don't withhold the information. Ask them to explain this and then wait till they explain it and then give them more information, because you're being a dick when you do that. That's the simplest way I can say it, because you're just withholding information. Other people have just you're welcome, Sandra. Oh, you're so nice. Other people have just disregarded explanations or speculation that I made because you're just a skeptic. And that's getting into almost like insulting me. I don't want to say like a full ad hominem logical fallacy, because they're not insulting me. They're just saying you're a skeptic, so you don't believe, so therefore your explanation doesn't fit. But sometimes that can happen. They just say, well, you just hate anything paranormal, therefore you don't believe. That could be, I think that's considered ad hominem. What else? There is the what else? Cognitive no, that's a bias. That's a cognitive. What other? Let me look. Let me look at my poster on the wall that John without an H gave me. There's the straw man, where you misrepresent someone's argument to make it easier to attack. And I don't have a good example of that. Let me see. Loaded question. I don't like loaded questions because people actually, there's a funny story. So my friend Melanie, not Teresa King, but the other Melanie that did the Bell Witch article, I hung out with her. We hung out with her in Tennessee for a few days, and we were talking. We got into a discussion, and she was trained as a reporter, a journalist. So she started asking me questions, going, "Isn't it true that you?" And when you say stuff like that, when you start a question, "Isn't it true that you?" That to me is it's a loaded question, because if other people are watching, they are hearing this accusation. And instead of just asking me a question, now I am put into a position where I have to defend my answer. Like I have to defend a stance and an answer, because they put that accusation of, isn't it true, saying that I think it's true, that you did this, or that you said this. And it's not a simple yes or no. You have to go into a much more detailed explanation, because you have to cover more of why it's not true. Not just the answer to the question itself, but why it's not true. And that is a tactic a lot of politicians use to make the other person look bad in the eyes of the audience, and also to eat up their time, because now they have to take twice as long to answer a question than they really should. So I don't, Abby face biddle. What? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Hasty generalization. Yes. Appeal to authority. That's a good one. Yeah. When people say, hey, like I talked to so-and-so, this happens a lot in the paranormal community, where they're like, well, like I sent my photographs to photographers, and they said it was a ghost. And that can go, like, in that situation, which I've been in many times, that's usually making up photographers, because I usually ask, like, my first question is, who are the photographers? And I want names and contact information so that I can contact them and verify what they said. And usually the photographers are anonymous, or they don't want to be known. So that's convenient. Other times there's an appeal to authority where someone will say, like, well, I talked to Zach Baggins and he said it was real. Or I talked to this other paraceleb and they said it was real. And if you're not, those people aren't authorities on the paranormal. They are entertainers. So I don't feel I don't feel they are experts in the field. You need to actually go to experts, like real experts, someone that made a career in physics or biology or chemistry or something like that, and ask them an opinion if it's relevant to what you're talking about. He, she, they are an airplane pilot and they know what's in the air. Trained observers. Holy shit. Yeah. I talk about that often. That is a big chunk of my presentation tomorrow, about trained observers, where people say, well, like, I'll give an example of one gentleman that he's in the paranormal community, and he did a presentation last year at a conference I was at, and he described himself as he was an MP, and the way he delivered it was, I was an MP, and therefore I am a trained observer. Therefore, when I say I see a Bigfoot, it's really a Bigfoot, which my hand went right up, because that's not how it works. Like, trained observers are trained to observe specific things. So say police are trained to observe behavior of a suspect. When they approach a building, they're trained to look at things like shadowed areas. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to feel good. Shadowed areas, architectural features where someone might hide, because they're looking to stay safe. So they want to make sure, like, all right, if I approach this building, where would somebody hide? Where would a suspect hide? And I have to be careful of that area. If they're looking at someone, they're paying attention. Shush, Chris. They have to pay attention to their behavior. And if they make any quick movements or stuff like that, they're trained to observe certain things. Firefighters trained to observe different things, different details in an environment. So just because you are a trained observer does not mean that your ghost story has more weight than anyone else's, because you're not trained to observe a ghost. No one is a trained observer to observe a ghost. I got to stop talking soon because I'm feeling pretty good. Oh, man. As I drink more. All right. So with that question done, I think we're good with questions. Oh, cheers, everyone. Yeah. I keep accidentally hitting send when trying to autocorrect. Oh, man. That's funny. All right. So that's probably it, because now I'm really feeling good and I got to stop drinking. So everyone, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to go out and see if the golf carts are going around. Maybe I can get myself a golf cart. If I tackle one of them off of there, I'm going to take the golf cart. I'm going to be stumbling home. That's right. Everyone, thanks for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. I want to give big thanks to Tim Vickers in the background for putting up your questions, monitoring the chat, making sure everything runs smoothly and I don't get too far behind. Everyone else, appreciate what's going on. Jesus, I got to shut up. It's going to be a rough presentation. Yeah, it is. It's totally going to be rough. Let me see what I got going on. Got a presentation tomorrow. So I want to announce that on the 16th, Wednesday, coming up at 7 p.m., I think Eastern time, I'm assuming is Eastern time, there is a virtual Skeptics in the Pub, and it's going to feature Daniel Reed. Daniel Reed's a good friend of the show. He's going to be on there. I will share a link on Facebook and YouTube so that you guys, if you're interested, you can watch. It's going to be the title of his talk is Experiencing the Strange. So it's a pretty good talk. I like his stories. They're worth watching. Let's see. Nothing there. Oh, let's see. No, August 22nd, I'm going to have some guests on the show that put out a book called Spooky Science. If you look it up, it's pretty good. October 10th, I'll be in Indiana, Pennsylvania, doing a workshop for the Indiana, Pennsylvania Historical Society. And we're going to be talking about ghost hunting gadgets. The following weekend, I'll be in West Virginia for Daniel Reed's West Virginia Skeptic Society Skeptic Camp. It's a long name, but it's a one-day event. I think there's 5 or 6 speakers that are going to be presenting, and it's a really good thing. And from what I hear, the venue is really doing good. It's going to be promoting a lot of stuff. It's going to be handling a lot of things. It's going to be a good day. So if you can get there, if you're in the area, I highly recommend that you get out there. Hey, Kid Ford, how was your D&D game? I hope it was good. Let's see. That's all I want to go into now. Everything else, yeah. So I should be good for a show next week. And hopefully Donna will be joining me again. Oh, actually, no. Son of a bitch. Donna goes away. Donna's going away. She's staying at her dad's next week for a little. She's visiting with her dad. So she won't be here. Hey, Tim Vickers, what are you doing next week? Oh, nobody is ever just in the area. I know, right? Like you guys, everything's so far away. All right, so we'll see. Next week I'll be here. We'll probably do this show again, unless I get a hold of those ghost hunters that Beardo did one of his last videos on. I might see if they can come on and talk to them. That'll be cool. So, hey, Jethro. Friday House, good to see you. Seeing other names pop up that I haven't noticed in the chat. Ken Jarl, good to see you. Okay, I think that's it. I'm good. I'm good to go. I'm going to stop babbling because that's what I'm doing. And there will not be an after show because I do have to go home. So don't hang out. Actually, listen to the outro song. I'm actually fixing it so that I can put the outro song on automatic. So I don't have to remember to press the button. All right, everyone. Love you guys. Thank you again for hanging out. I appreciate it and putting up with me. Have a great weekend. And remember, never stop learning. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey, diddle diddle, here's a little riddle. Who's the best at bunker? Is it Kenny Biddle? Oh, he's good, not just a little. Not at the bottom or even the middle. Strike a chord like a fiddle. Tasting the rainbow like a skittle. That's fragile and brittle. You can watch him take a problem and start to riddle the problem away. He does not play. He takes his job so seriously. He loves a challenge and won't turn you away. It's such a skeptic. He keeps those believers exposing the fake. It wouldn't take him long to find a needle in hay. Use a magnet, damn it. Now take a drink of Kenny's specialty. Someone may say that's not for me. To each their own, what really it will be. Man, Kenny's such a skeptic, drinking skeptical tea. Like and subscribe, everybody turn notifications on. And go watch his show and forget about this song. Mr. Wizard or Bill Nye the Science Guy. Can you remember? You like Kenny better, so head to the Skeptical Help Bar and meet the bartender. Pick up a drink and relax, cause nobody does this better. Not even close, not even a little. He's the one and only Kenny Biddle.